So meet Yogesh. Yogesh is a lead designer working with Tata Elxsi.
I mean,
And he's one of the first designers I started my career with in elephant design. When I started, he was my senior designer. And we know since then. And he had a crazy habit, even then, that was collecting matchboxes.
that puts a lot of pressure on me actually.
Phenomenal collection, guys. And I've been after his life to come and do this session with you guys because this is something which we have to witness. Lots of learning and lots of new things to see. So I'll not take too much time. I'll let him begin. Feel free to ask questions. People on the link, you can feel free to put down your questions in the chat. And as soon as we get a breather, we will take those questions in between as well. After that, the people in the studio will do a small session just to get our hands on with the Matchbox designs. We can also share the same exercises with the online members. If you want to try out something at your end, feel free to do that and showcase during the session. Okay.
Cool.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, people on the link and on the physical presence. Thanks a lot for spending your Sunday mornings. I know how hard and tough it is to wake up and go for a session. But yeah, welcome to the Matchbox story. So during COVID times, I did a lot of webinars on the Matchboxes because that is what the time pass used to be. And this was that time video. I will just play it because usually. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, so as I said, I used to always wonder that these matchboxes are quite a bit in motion and they are not so static as what we see. Yeah. So as to make these kind of jeeps, just to how the matchbox in motion could have been, and if they want to tell the stories, what it could have been. So like something like a Hanuman, which I did in when I was in during the COVID time, and if you see Matchbox as a product or as an object, it's quite mundane, it's quite ignored, it's quite very utility based. And thanks to Bollywood, Hollywood, they are glamorize it so much, and it's not fun except Zippo lighter. I think there's no fun in the lighters, but there is so much style and there is so much glamour in the matchboxes, and we cannot forget Rajnikant in this. Yeah, so just to introduce myself, I'm Yogesh Maralkar. Uh, I'm basically a product designer working as Mohit said, I'm working with Tata Elxsi as a lead designer. And I started collecting Matchbox as a kid, like everyone else in my, at least in my age group, like in your age group, maybe Cheetos card or maybe something like that. But then I started collecting, then obviously 10th and 12th and everything. Then I left it and then I picked it up again when I came back from the IIT in 2008. And then, yeah, obviously, this is just my story in terms of Matchbox labels. So I born and brought up in a town called Aurangabad. Uh, by the way, all these are Matchboxes. So even I have a Ajanta Ellora Matchbox. So and then obviously, like every parents had, they also had a hope that I will be someone astronaut or something like that. And but obviously, I grew up. I did my mechanical engineering, and then lots of distractions during in between, and then we had a hard hope, but I was more inclined towards the art. and then mechanical engineering plus art plus design. So life was quite a on a different track. So I wasn't knowing what should I do exactly. How can I combine my passion of art as well as a love for the mechanical design? And then I came to know about product design where I can club that. Then it's a combination of art, design, everything. Then I worked with Elephant Design after passing out from the IIT, and then it was quite enchanting. Then I worked with Samsung Design in Delhi, and then currently I'm with Tata Elxsi. So yeah, so far it's a good journey, and of course when I whenever I started, and the most of the possible question is why matchboxes? Is there any monetary value? इसमें से कुछ मिलता है क्या? Would you like to sell or something like those questions? But because of the kind of hobbies which people has, like they may be collecting stamps, they may be collecting currency. So there is some kind of a monetization value, and they maybe that approach has people led asking these questions. But thanks to my father, by the way, his name is Govind, so and the matchbox is there. So thanks to my dad who actually gifted this album when I was during childhood on one of my birthday, and I still have that. So this is all the album is. It's extremely fragile. You can have a look. So he gifted this album, and then I started testing those labels because during childhood or during my age, actually, most of the people's or kids' parents used to throw their Matchbox collection. Maybe because of the future uh, challenges they might be foreseeing in that. But thanks to that, actually, he saw that there is a beauty in that, and he gifted that album. So I started pasting it, and it was quite encouraging because because earlier I used to paste it on a notebook, textbook. So then I got a dedicated space to it. Then I thought that how we can do something about matchboxes. So like everyone did, I used to make furniture out of it. I used to make some toys out of it. And then, of course, I left that once I made this album. Then I hobby got discontinued. But then again, when I came back from IIT, and by that time I had a very different perspective to look at the matchboxes, because we used to see only two, three varieties of matchboxes during our childhood. Then I started seeing, maybe because of the IIT, because of the design perspective, it changed my whole angle towards looking at the matchbox as a product, because it's a utility product, and I always feel that it's almost like the cheapest canvas somebody can own. And it was quite enlightening because uh, then at that time there used to be internet. Then you can connect with Facebook and Orkut, and those used to be the time. And I started little deep diving into it, that what exactly how the history is, when did Matchboxes started. And it was quite eye opening, because if you see like some of the products, like if you see the world's first newspaper has started around 1700. Then if you see, look at the currency, postage stamps, it has come actually after the matchbox. So we might feel that currency will come before, or stamps will come before, but matchbox as a product has come in during around 1830. So it's that ancient product which is even before paper money. And then I felt that how this hobby has evolved, or how this uh, the graphics has evolved. And during that time there used to be poster art, calendar art, truck art, and Raja Ravi Verma or MV Dhurandhar. Those kind of artists used to make those things really with a love and passion. And there's a beauty, because all these are hand painted. So that, of course, there were no digital tools, and each and every product, even we used to quite familiar with the school posters art. So, and what we call those moments are the Indian pop art. So those used to be a pop art, whether it's a BD posters or whether it's to be a film posters. There used to be a metal boxes, and then there was a time where there used to be a you may not be, because even this was not there at my time, but there used to be a label on the cloth mill. So there used to be cloth labels. So जो bundle आता था cloth का, उसके ऊपर एक label आता था. So something like this. So extremely beautiful labels with a Indian imagery, with a lot of royal patronage to it. There used to be Maharajas and Maharanis. And then started the time of poster art where people started moving towards the calendars, started making the posters which are actually painted by few eminent artists, and then started the lithography movement when it got into mass production. And these kind of calendar arts we used to always have. And then came a moment of Bollywood art where people used to do those posters hand painted. So, and that's why I feel that Matchbox is just like it's like almost smaller canvas. So anything and everything, it's a piece of paper, so you can print on it. And during that time, because you can imagine, before social media, before even any digital tools, Matchbox used to be the cheapest advertising material, which can go to the grassroots level. I mean, even in a villages, if you want to do the advertising, it used to be cheapest medium for advertising. And beautiful, colorful labels, multiple topics, and as I said, some of there were early moments of 1680 around when the Matchbox has started with some kind of a different types, because earlier there used to be friction matches. So you might have seen in movies that James Bond is striking a matchbox on the shoe sole. So those used to be a friction matches because you can strike it anywhere and lit it up. But they used to be extremely dangerous because anytime it can get friction. So that's why we see on the matchboxes safety match, because earlier those used to be very unsafe, and that's why they call it safety match, and that almost got invented during 1850s. So now you can just imagine any product uh, which is almost unchanged since last 175 years. I mean, there are not. I don't think there are enough products which we can recall that which are unchanged. Like this is, you can imagine 1850, the matchbox used to like look like this, and just imagine current matchboxes which same. There is no change in that. So there's hardly any product, and being a product designer, I have to always go behind that. I can't imagine that any product which is nowadays almost every year you get a different version, you get an update, you get a new phone. But 175 years unchanged product is highly unimaginable. And some insights on that, like the way matchsticks are made are you cut a wooden log, then you make a veneer out of it, then chop it, and then dip it into the phosphorus. And you'll be surprised to see that a lot of countries have stopped actually producing matchboxes and using matchboxes. But India is one country which is the largest producer as well as exporter of matchbox. So we still have grassroots level, or in majority level we use still matchboxes. But a lot of countries, they don't use matchboxes nowadays, which is highly unsustainable, because even in lighters, there's a lot of pollution, and I'm hopeful that Matchbox will get back soon their beauty. And this is how it used to look, the Matchboxes of during, let's say, 1875 or 95, where maybe before World War First. So the topic, if you see, there is to be Japanese matchboxes, because those were one of the forefront pioneers of the matchbox making. Japanese were always good with the fireworks and printing techniques. So their art used to be highly intricate. And you will see most of them are, some of them are from Sweden, some of them are from Japan, because those were the pioneers of those matchboxes. And then there is a movement called Raja Ravi Verma, because he was, of course, you must have heard about it. He was a eminent artist of India, and he was not only artist, but he was a very visionary man who learned lithography as a technique, as a printing technique, and then he mass produced the lot of his paintings in a print format, and that created a movement, because of that, all whatever we see, Ram, Sita, or whatever those gods and goddesses are in on our walls, because of this guy, because he started that lithography as a movement, and he learned lithography from abroad. He came to India, he imported the machinery. During that time, he set up a studio near Lonavala in Mumbai. And post that, as you see, there is during the freedom time, the matchboxes, as I said, matchboxes was used as a propaganda, and that is because the cheapest medium which can reach to grassroots level. So if you want to propagate, if you want to reach to a grassroots level, matchbox used to be one of the very prominent mediums. So you can see all the freedom movements on the matchboxes, right from Mahatma Gandhi to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and all those freedom movements were used on that. So some of these are my collection photographs where extremely low.
There are different sizes of matches.
Yeah. So there used to be packet labels. So the bigger sizes are actually the packet label. So this used to come on a packet. And this is the Raja Yoga's painting famous painting Shinjami and
It's made in Sweden.
yeah. So yeah, I'll come back to that.
What's quality?
Because that used to use in war.
But was it the exact same matches?
Same matches, but with a very good flammability. Because you will use in war, you will use in open space. So the flame has to be really good.
And wait.
So that used to be a really extreme good quality matchboxes. So this is one of the carton label which I have at home. So it's called Shivaji, and this is quite a big frame. It's a carton label. So this big size carton label during maybe around 1950s. But you can see very different. Those who you can see a very different style of Shivaji, because if you see the cap, it's very Islamic. It's not the Maharashtrian those type. So it's not a those mukut used to become, but this is very Islamic style. So that you can imagine that must be the artist must be Islamic or somebody from that side. So who has his own interpretation of Shivaji. And then post independence, the it was a cheerful time, so the graphics has also changed a lot. Uh, there used to be a lot of cheerness, a lot of funny things on the matchboxes. And then post that, nowadays we have all Google, Twitter, everything on.
These are real.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
these are my collection. These are actual photographs. So, so you can imagine where we started from freedom movement to. And there are different types of matchboxes. So what we see, just a normal kitchen size matchbox. Then there used to be a wooden matchbox. Then there used to be a matchbook. So this is called a matchbook. So the sticks are.
Is it like that? Oh.
So these are what called as those camping matchboxes. So there used to be a small first aid kit into it, and there will be a matchbox. Yeah.
Oh, are these the one which doesn't go off like once you strike it? Like it's gonna burn off, and if you pour water on it, there are few matches like that for camping. Are these the same?
Yeah, these are almost same, but those are slightly different. Yeah. And there are those big canisters or celebration. These are called as a fireplace matchboxes. So the mastics will be that long. I don't have it right now, but it will be that long. So this used to use for the fireplace because you don't want to go very near. And then there are match holders, which are like these ones, which are like mounted on the wall. And you can keep a matchbox here, and the mastics will come out from this, and you can lit it up. Or something like this. This is also match holder.
It's still lighted from the box itself, right?
Yes.
It's just a holder.
Correct. It's just a holder because it's for the kitchen or it's for the restaurants. You don't want to carry away the matchbox if people wants to. And also this is for during rainy season or during those times, it gets damp. So this prevents it from damping. And then thanks to Bollywood, who has lots of subjects on the matchboxes, people used to love them. So, and Hollywood too. I mean, there are imported matchboxes which I do collect. I do exchange with the foreign collectors. So we have a community. So I send them whatever I have extra, and they send me whatever they have. So it's just a barter system, but it's fairly quite a without any expectations. And like we have piracy in software, so this is not a new concept, but it's an old concept where whenever Matchbox gets popular, it's some brand, then there will be a multiples of piracy levels because, as I said, it will reach to grassroots level for the village people. It's just a ship, which ship-like object. If they see, it's like a ship Matchbox. So
On his shirt as a sheep.
yeah. So multiple, I mean, and it's quite funny and it's so intellectual also because the way people used to design those graphics, you can see that Jai ship, the P is just ulta. So I mean, imagine if somebody tells you that design a product which should look like that, but it should not be like that. It will be crazy. So And those artists were completely unknown because it's very unorganized industry. So those all artists are quite unknown. And they're quite funny too because James Bond. If he sees that, I think he'll do a suicide. It's not a wolf, but
I is very good.
and the more I got into it, I thought I used to have this label, but I never thought that it might be a story in the school books. I don't know. I never read that story, but somebody sent me this after my talk last time, and it used to be a story because it's a tale of cooperation and how the uh, mice came out of the jar and quite a satirical too because we can relate that with the now today's world too. Somebody is pulling the tail. But it's a nice. I mean, people used to think a lot on those when some artist must have done that matchboxes during those times. You can imagine it's just a 6 paisa matchbox. So during that old matchbox, somebody has thought about the story. They illustrated that and made it on the matchboxes. And then, as I said, there are match holders which I've shown you. So quite a almost like a Ferrari of matchboxes because this used to be used by maybe kings and queens. So that level of silver and gold used to get used for the match holders. And compared to stamps or currency, Matchbox is a 3D product. It's a 3D object, so there's a lot of variety in that 3Dness which you get. So there are triangular matchboxes, or there are you can see these. So there are hexagonals, there are matchbooks. There is somewhere triangular. Yeah. Yeah. So these are match holders. You can just look at the intricacies, the kind of embossing on that. Even as a manufacturing product, it's like a piece of craftsmanship. So these are
Yeah, because these are the hands.
cigarette box replicas. Do you guys used to collect anything?
I had comics
Okay, great.
before my mother gave her to Kawadi wala.
Mine was very so I used to collect this broken tiles.
Broken?
Tiles. Like whenever they used to do some construction,
Huh.
those pieces of tiles they used to leave behind, right?
Tiles?
Tiles as the floor.
Tiles. Oh, tiles. Okay.
So I used to collect those.
Oh, that's nice. Which one?
The bill was never there. Like I could never commit. I tried bottle caps, I tried stamps, then nobody used to send anything. I don't think I mentee when I'm into it.
Okay.
This is like really inspiring. But yeah.
Anyone on the link? Any collection you used to have? Would you like to share?
How do these work? Okay, sure. Yeah.
But I used to always feel that, it's such a like a very tiny, very cheap product, but with such a diverse variety of design, art, culture, it's almost like a mirror of society. But we used to always, I mean, it obviously it goes into the garbage. So there used to be a lot of dilemma which I used to have, that why such a bad treatment to this product. And then there is a movement called Swedish Matchbox, because Swedish is the one, if you recall that those are the people who uh, invented the first safety match. And Swedish used to always lead the way, because of the Sweden used to have raw material access, they used to have weather, the cheap labor maybe, and they started designing those matchboxes. And even today, if you see, these are Swedish matchboxes, or which are displayed here also. If you see the graphic style, it's a very even nowadays we have these graphic style. So it's actually invented in Sweden, but then it almost carried forward till today. If you see the border treatment, the cartouche style, the making the element in some kind of a geometric format, so all that is still being followed even today. So in fact, the size of the matchbox, which is very peculiar, which is very rectangularish, then kind of framing which has got from a design and point of view, if you see, it is always framed. The product is always object is always framed in some kind of very nicely composed manner. Then there is to be a border treatment, what we call as a cartouche style. Then very decorative, because it's a piece of paper and you can print on it. So, and of course vibrant color and the kind of typography which comes on that. Even in that album also, you might have seen the Swedish labels features. One of my favorite ones, because they're so beautiful. I mean, the way the printing techniques, the kind of artistic nature of it. And even Japan, as I said, used to be a pioneer in the fireworks, used to be pioneer in the fine printing. And Japanese sense of aesthetics is at another level. I mean, even nowadays, if you see a Muji or these kind of stores, uh, I mean, you don't feel like paying a 800 rupees for a pencil. It's just a pencil. But their sense of aesthetics is too refined, and that's what is getting reflected on the matchboxes too. Even the size, if you see, it's very rectangular in that album. There are on the last page our Japanese words. Just recently, I posted this set on my Facebook page and stuff. This is a some not complete set, but this is one set of a one artist who traveled in Japan to, I think, 53. Its set is called as 53 stations in Japan. So 53 railway stations. So government of Japan has sponsored his trip at that time, and he visited 53 places, and then he designed paintings around it, and those paintings are on these matchboxes, if you see. So he designed those paintings around those places which he has visited. So just imagine how beautifully people has thought about it, that how can we promote matchboxes, how can we I mean, he just visited those stations, but he has even some matchbox manufacturer has issued those matchboxes. It's a really great thing because nowadays we see only very generic matchbox. Nobody think about it from an artistic manner, but those people at that time has thought to make matchboxes out of those paintings.
Yeah.
That might be, I think, next on the matchboxes. Ghibli style. Yeah. I know. The printing is so fine. I mean,
But have you discovered what is the reach numbers
Of
with
the-
respect to these, like, if people are promoting art
ah,
or messages, or like there's a community messages, clearly this could be a very good platform that it
Yeah.
reaches grassroots. Is there any number or any research that says what kind of impact it has in reach?
not really. It's very difficult to find out because, as I said, these are quite old. These might be around 50, 70-year-old matchboxes. Yeah. So there is hardly any data available for the, not even for the artists, not even for the reach.
But what's the situation today? Do people use matches?
No, in foreign countries, they almost stopped it. And whatever Souvenir said, sometimes if somebody China do have some, but those are all digitally printed nowadays. So there's no fun of those matchboxes because if you can see those, even this one is very beautiful set I have. But these are all digitally printed. So nowadays, that fun is not there. Like these labels which you see on the screen, this art is called as Bijinga style. So it's a Bijinga is basically painting beautiful women of those times, and you can see those styles are so peculiar about it.
How many at a time would they actually make or produce of each this particular artist created this set of matchboxes? At a time, how, like, do we know how many at a time they would make and
Not really, but this used to be quite mass produced
okay.
because the considering the reach of the matchboxes and the cost which will incur in that, because ultimately you will be selling it as around 50 paisa 1 rupee in those countries also. So there used to be quite million numbers because if you even today if you go to a matchbox manufacturer you will ask for a million quantity to just to produce the matchboxes because that's how their machine run is. So I'm sure those will be produced in millions. Yeah, so this is the set which I was talking about. So those are the, it's called as Chi Baishi. So this was an artist in China who used to do rice paper paintings. So in China, those are quite popular. So watercolor paintings. So those that brush used to be also very different. So these are all his painting works. So, but I just get fascinated because at least somebody has thought about it to put some it on matchboxes and popularize it, or at least we know that this is the artist at the time it was there. And though he was popular in China, but it's a beautiful way of communicating and propagating the art to the at least to the common man. Because if you go to buy a maybe a rice paper painting of this, you will not be able to afford it. But at least you can afford a matchbox and you can keep it in a pocket. Same with Raja Ravi Verma actually. A lot of Raja Ravi Verma's paintings are there on the matchboxes. So you you can hardly, it's unimaginable to have a Raja Ravi Verma's even a litho print now. Even a lithographic print of his painting is in maybe in lakhs. So and Matchbox used to carry it Raja Ravilma in your pocket. These are set of this is set from Russia. So like you must be remember those Aesop stories, like Panchatantra kind of stories, yeah, fables. So these are also fables, but in a Russian way. So it's called animals, but Ivan Krylov or something, and he used to be the fabulist at that time. you can see there used to be a those phrases like "Hati chale, kutta bhoke." So there is a lot of meaningful messages through those matchboxes, and this is a souvenir set. Like they used to produce in few numbers, and this is I got it from Ukraine.
This, what the consistency, storytelling का वही है कि सबको एकदम minimize करके.
Correct, yeah.
Less essence of the story is.
Yes, essence of the story has to come on these kind of sites. And then I'm sure a lot of multiple talented designers, artists must have worked on this because these are quite very thoughtful. These are properly designed piece, and this is also from Russia. If you see the art movements, so this is kind of a art called as constructivism. So there are different art movements, and this is based on that constructivism. So if you see, all these are like an industrial revolution labels and graphics, but in a very peculiar style. If you see the bold geometries, uh, just hardly limited number of colors. The drawing, if you see, they're very blockish. And some of these are from France, so they have a Picasso's sketches on that. So Picasso used to be fascinated with pigeons, and so they have sketches of Picasso's on the matchboxes.
It also has a different color.
Yeah, correct.
Is that the same material but
Same material, just a color is added. So nowadays, earlier there used to be a normal red phosphorus colors, but then during the evolution, people have started exploring with the colors, and some of these are they have got that color according to the matchbox graphics.
yeah.
So if you see that Chinese sets,
And that's blue and like
yeah.
other colors also.
This one has art on the front and the back, isn't it?
Correct, yeah, it's a continuation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there used to be a very good medium for the infotainment too. I mean, this is from the former Czechoslovakia. So during 1990s, so they issued this complete set of playing cards. So there are different. So almost you can cut it and play it. What a beautiful thought actually to have playing cards on the matchboxes. And you might be wondering where we were, because I have shown you all the foreign matchboxes, but of course we were also there. And this was a set for the guns which were issued by the Indian company called ITC. So they issued a lot of multiple sets, like a collector set, and some of them are displayed here. I got just one, which is for the guns. So it's a set of 5. They issued almost 17, 18 sets like this.
These are all by
Yes, these are all by ITC. So at the back of it, striking surface is slightly different. At the back of it, there is a flat striking. It's not on the side, and there is a information written for that particular gun at the back. So very good piece of infotainment too. Like if kids are collecting or if we are collecting, we can get a lot of knowledge through that. When I post it on the Facebook, I do some kind of a research, and there's so much I dig out from matchboxes. I never considered that. Like saying that Chinese Japanese traveler, I just translated through Google and I saw that there's a written 53 stations of some Japan, and I realized that there's a whole lot of history behind it, and that guy who has traveled, that artist, and where he stopped, and oh my god, I mean, it's a concising that information itself is a task. Netherlands is one of the very good uh, who has populated that matchboxes, and they have issued multiple sets of label sets. So these are label set because in this hobby, most of the people collect labels because they are easy to manage because the way I have kept it in album. So they're easy to manage, and you get a lot of collector uh, people collect only the labels, and you can exchange with them. So this is one set which is based on the inventions of the world. So you can see there is an inventor, like I think this is Dunlop, who has invented the tire. Or there is somebody, yeah, Diesel. So his name is Diesel, and the way that's why we call it as a diesel engine. Then lots of this is also from Netherlands. The music instruments on the labels, alphabets, animals, pets. And best part is it's in the series, so you get a lot of names of the. You get to know a lot of information about it. Very nice set actually. This is also from Netherlands, but it's not. It's a matchbox, but inside that there is not a matchbox. Inside that there are wooden toys, and you make a picture out of it. So the picture which is there in the front, those toys are there inside the matchbox. So this is issued by one zoo in Netherlands. So there are small wooden toys. You can imagine those are before even laser cutting days. You die cut these toys and put it in the matchbox. So as you can see, there are those animals, those wooden cuts, elephants are there inside a matchbox, and you can make a picture which is there on the front. Sorry, these are from Germany, not Netherlands. Germans are known for their precision ship, so we can't match that.
Was this a matchbox before and then use?
No. This is issued by one zoo, so it's a souvenir kind of a set. So they instead of mastics, they put a wooden toys inside, and it's like a puzzle. So you can make that layer. या ऊपर जो फोटो लगा है उसके हिसाब से आप उसको and there is to be a different category of matchboxes called as matchbook, which I have shown you just now. So and so these are all mainly promotional matchboxes, advertising matchboxes. So usually what you get in most of the hotels and restaurants. So these recently these sticks are not wooden, but these sticks are cardboard sticks. But what I am showing you is a wooden stick. Yeah. So that's what the format is because instead of a box, they converted it into a paper kind of slim. So like this is issued by Netherlands government for promoting their tourism. So it's a full set of uh, 12 matchbooks, promote having those famous tourist places. At the back of it, uh, there is a information. At the back of it, there is a tram or the bus route map, the number. It's a crazy thing. So these are slightly modern. When I've been to China, I got this set. So it's a different. They're fascinated with cats. So some of the few matchbooks I have, this is slightly bigger in size, which has got the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci. And then there are promotional matchbooks which are shown you like that for the Camel cigarettes. And so quite an old movie called Darmiya. So at that time, even Bollywood movies used to issue some kind of matchbooks to promote them.
Would those be more expensive than
No, no, they're just promotional. So they might be offering you free also.
Okay.
So this is a in the shape of matchbook, but it's a calculator, very tiny one. There is, you can see there is a button cell tray also. So, and that's the beauty of that product actually, because these are replicas of cigarette boxes, because they go quite hand in hand. So the one which I've shown you. So there are cardboard ones also, which are something like, you can just imagine the amount of cardboard foldings, even the chamfers on the edges. It's so precious and it's so precise to make those as a cardboard in a cardboard packaging. So those are for the Davidoff brand. And then there are cylindrical ones. Yeah, so the one which I'm circulating is called as dynamite, and it has also got some wick on top of it. You can see the even the color is red and black, so it almost feels like it will blast. Yes, some of these, the one which I'm showing you is like a quite some artist's imagination has gone wild. So there are almost 8 trays and some craftsmanship done on them. Of course, these are not mass produced, but it's lovely to see that somebody has taken so much effort to make them so crafty. Those are Spanish ones.
Almost like earbuds because of the white.
Yeah.
From here.
Uh, have you seen this product anywhere? Okay. No, no, these are not Matchbox. But this is the way I used to always connect with my profession too, and when I was working with Elephant Design, so this project was there, and the one Matchbox which I shown you. At that time, I got when this project came, I got inspired from this, and I thought that it might be a good idea to do the packaging like that. So almost at that time it was rare that within 2 to 3 concepts one got shortlisted this and then got into mass production, got launched. So, uh, but it was quite how you can draw the inspiration from your hobbies or from your passion. And as we see, not only the form, the shape, but also some bit of a material or there's a lot of innovation which has happened in the matchboxes. Like this one, this matchbox is like you can pull it out and then it will it will lit up. There's this one which is don't pull it. And then there's this one. So they are almost like once you pull it, it will come striking. So so there's a striking inside that layer. So when you pull it, it will lit up. So you don't have to strike it back.
Yeah.
I know.
The learning curve, you are used to taking it out and then
Yeah, I know.
but ये निकालते ही it lit up.
Correct, correct. So this is made up of.
This entire hand is already on fire.
तो वो है कि बताने में देरी हो गई और निकाल लिया किसी ने।
So this is also something similar by Marlboro, which has got an aluminium tray into it. Quite nice design also. It's completely white. There's no graphics on that, just a logo at the corner. So a lot of learnings from the minimalistic point of view too. At least I never imagined that Matchbox, what if it becomes transparent? So actually it's so useful that because there might be time that you will open up and there is no mastic inside. So then I found this one, which is a transparent matchbox. So difficult to imagine, ना कि matchbox भी transparent हो सकता है.
Initial part of the talk, I was wondering that some sense you had Alex shade screening. Pretty much all questions got answered. It's difficult to break the mold of how it looks.
I know, yeah.
Asking those questions, why this?
Correct.
Why only this?
Yeah.
This case reminds me of those case cassettes used to come.
Yeah. These are plastic ones, so the cover and the tray both are plastic. This I don't have right now, but it's a nice, beautiful, like almost like a what you get like a vanity kit or some mirror, small mirror, pocket mirror which you open. So it's something like that. Yeah, we have seen that. Then there used to be a very popular brand of, not used to be, there is, even today there is a popular brand of cigar called Churchill. Because Churchill used to smoke cigar and that brand is very famous. So this is like a small wooden box, almost this size, almost like a case. Correct. लेकिन कितना अच्छा association है, because at that time you might carry ammunition in the wooden cases, so it's almost like ammunition. This so I could not get it, but this is a ceramic tile. Somebody must have done like a craftsmanship, but this is a ceramic style, and below that there are matchboxes, and on that ceramic style there are those small tiny, it's like this, and small tiny elements of household goods like a jadu and a clay pot or a teapot, balan. So even there is a small chatai also. Look at this small mat. Almost like a watchmaking kind of a thing. And then there are these are Indian souvenir set. This is issued by a company called Wimco. So at that time, quite a big company and one of the very pioneers of Indian matchboxes. So they issued this Ajanta Ellora set. As I'm from Aurangabad near to Ajanta, so I have a special place for this set. So and if you see, it is issued by a directorate of match industry. So very old set, but at that time people used to be much more creative than today. Actually, this is also one Russian set for the New Year, celebrating the New Year. This is also from Russia. This is around 1970. So uh, this set is called as the Battle of Borodino. So it used to be just like our battles. So this was issued for that battle. So there are all there's a nice piece of information on the shield, and those people, those soldiers, those major uh, who has participated in that war. So this set is issued to celebrate those victory. You can look at the illustrations, the line quality, the way the color is getting filled. Some part of illustration is black and white, some has some little bit touch of color. And people has thought about it, people has issued matchboxes, so it's a uh, commendable thing to do something on a matchboxes of that level. And these are not like these are not made for something else, and then like you do the reduction or scaling of it. So this is made to this size. This is drawn to this size. So every sketch is of this size and then printed. It's not like today we do a 1D or 3D scale. So it's sketched according to that. Tom and Jerry. So this is also one beautiful set. I don't think I have. So it's a Russian wedding set. So it portrays the wedding in a Russia. So very similar to Indian culture, like something like you can see this. It's almost like a Bidaika scene, the girl and the parents. So this is the one which is again some kind of a souvenir set, maybe from somebody.
Like too many matches a set.
But there must be something inside that which I don't have. But you can imagine it's almost like a book size and striking surfaces.
From a museum.
Huh?
Is it from a museum?
It's from a museum, right? It's from Poland.
cover with the matchbox next to it?
No, no. I just kept it for the scaling.
Or a scale?
So how big it then it's if you find someone, then you can get rewarded.
Like that, I told you on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next about it, other than that.
Some of the pictures might have to replaced as comparable with respect to the new time. We need to change the pictures, I think.
And the status of capture.
Yeah. Yeah, these are fairly new ones, but of course I like them. So these are beautiful finish of matte and gloss, the lamination. Almost they have made justice to these luxury brands. If you see those very nicely UV printing.
Oh,
Mohit, I just need a coffee. Yeah, that's nice. That's
Are these Chinese?
yeah, these are Chinese. So in China, there are few. One company was there. So during my visit to China, I found those. These are new ones, but yeah, I just picked a few because they quite extend your imagination of what can be done. And then there are fashion matchboxes.
actually, as a session progresses, it's very easy to see why this is a collectible type of item because there's so much diversity.
Yeah. It has become like a piece of design actually.
Yeah.
And because, of course, printing or the graphics is one area, but the structure, the material innovation, it's one the technology in that involved. And quite a basic technology. If you see the core technology, it's just making a mastic.
Yeah.
But the way they have done around it, yeah, one more nice set from Netherlands, which is like a puzzle. Uh, I'm guessing it has issued by one circus, so it's a joker, but in a puzzle format. Quite playful for the kids also that you make a pieces out of it and
Oh, they're sold individually. Are these sold individually?
no, they are like a souvenir
Or
set.
as a puzzle?
Yeah, as a puzzle. And those are wooden matchboxes, basically, quite old. One more nice set from India. So it's again issued by Wilco. So there is it's a vintage car set with a almost 12 matchboxes inside. So at the back of it, there is the information related with that model. So it covers almost from 1915. Let it be. It's quite tight. So there's a details of the vehicles written at the back of it. How many cylinders, how many walls, how many cc, when was this issued. So somebody must have done so much research, content writing, finding the images, producing it, copywriting. Yeah, that's why.
Have you ever had anyone like destroy any one of your items?
Not yet.
Touch wood.
Please pray for it.
Yeah.
How old are these? The car ones?
These are must be 1970, 1960 to 70.
So photograph and then printed onto.
Must be either photograph or must be some illustration drawing. Yeah,
It's very detailed. And
correct. Yeah, but these are not photographs surely, because the way the colors and the line work is, it's almost like an illustration kind of thing. Or might be photograph also, because some of the material, if you see, it has got that it's shine.
Yeah.
So might be the photograph plus some bit of touch up.
Like in that time to have like a clean background and
Yeah,
that also
I know.
requires some sort of graphics.
Correct, correct. That's why I wonder that, because at the time also when they must have done it without the days of photoshopping,
Exactly.
how could have removed the background of a photograph? Another very beautiful set issued for the Indian Navy. So these are the emblems of the spaceship warships. Thank you, sir. Arriba. So you can see at the back there is a INS Deepak, INS Mysore. So those are warships, and in the front there is a symbol of that warship. Hmm. Awesome cooking. Sorry.
Where did you get this from? The Navy one?
From some exchange. So these are hand painted ones. I don't have right now, but these are like kitchen size matchboxes. One artist was there from Kolkata, so he gifted that. So this has been done by him by hand. So these are all like portraits which he has done with the poster color.
Oh, this was gifted to you.
Yeah,
That's a thoughtful gift.
yeah. So he himself was a matchbox collector. So, and that's why when we reflect on that through a design point of view, I feel that there used to be a lot of products which we feel that they are what we call them as a timeless or a classic, and multiples of things which comes to our mind, which were invented, like even if a wristwatch during 1780s, or a chair or a calculator, but something like a matchbox, which having a history of almost unchanged, which is a truly classic piece of design, which 175 is a really rare piece of product which you can find. And that's why some of the when we start reflecting on that, I feel that it's one of the most democratized art object when you can afford a Raja Ravi Verma in a 5 paisa or 10 paisa, then I don't think there is anything which can be cheaper than that. And it's truly for the people, by the people, because it was for the propagating, it was for meant for the common man to use it. And if you see it's almost like a mirror of society. So there is a social fabric which runs across, and you can see a lot of graphics, art movements, the products, the style is actually reflecting your lifestyle. It's reflecting the kind of socio-political scenario at that time. So during freedom movement, there used to be that kind of matchboxes. During new times, the matchboxes used to be more cheerful, more funny. So it's almost like a mirror of society, and something which is a visual factor to it, like as I've shown you the pirated copies of Ship. So it's a visual. It's very less text. It's not textual. It's a very visual product. Yeah, and then multiple art movement which has started at that time. Then people have started using Matchbox on a lot of products. They become a piece of design. Somebody has thought about it as a calendar, so you can, if you had a bad day, you can just burn it off. These are latest ones. Somebody from Denmark has designed those, and they have used striking surface as a graphics. So very beautiful, very different, radical thought that instead of graphics, how can we use a striking surface in a graphic manner?
That was very accurate.
Sorry,
That was very accurate. That was had to learn some-
I know. I know. Some of the products. Somebody, one shoe brand, I think, did the shoe boxes packaging in a matchbox size. I used to follow one page, I don't know, right, but it used to call as the Matchbox company, and they used to launch, they used to post it on the Insta, something like this, in a very funny way. And even mastics used to get celebrated a lot. People used to do a lot of artistry with the. This is from one page, I think. So I found this video during COVID time. So they were talking about break the chain.
I think everyone knows this name as the Rafi, that couple dances.
Ah, yeah. So being a designer, I just thought that I will try something with Matchbox, and then I found one leather puppetry artist during one exhibition, and then I just thought that how can we collaborate, and then we created. These used to be Matchbox labels, so then I gave him those art, and then we created one table lamp for that. So it's a leather and hand painted lamp. Multiples of collectors all across the world. So it's not just my collection. I wouldn't say it's a it's a curation, but thanks to a lot of collectors who has contributed generously. Some what I got it is somebody has gifted me or somebody. So thanks to them. And I do have a Facebook page called the Matchbox Story, or the Insta too, by the name of Yogesh Maralkar. So you can please like, subscribe, share, and thank you Wolffkraft, thank you Mohit for inviting me. Thank you people on the call. Do we have time for a small activity, or how do you see?
So we can, so we have participants there. You guys can take your time, chat with Yogesh, have any questions. try your hands on something that is very close to your heart.
Yeah, so me and Mohit just thought that we can have some small activity if you guys would like to try hands on your dream matchbox. So you can, there is some material also there, so you can try it.
Okay. So people on the link, let me see if we can. Okay. Okay. Hey guys. So guys, if any questions or anything that you want to express, share, talk, Yogesh is here. You can do that right now. We are planning to take one exercise where we want to take one strong idea that is very unique to you, and you try to design a matchbox cover for it. So that's something we are going to do in the studio. Feel free to do it at your end, and if you guys want to bounce it off, share it off, feel free to do that. Otherwise, if there's no other discussions that you want to do, please feel free to hang up, and the online session can end here, and we'll continue.
Yeah, sure.